What a horrible idea. So afraid.
We're good. We're good. It'll be fun.
Copy. That's what they always say. Okay. Should
Exactly.
I make an announcement?
Yes.
So this is going to be part of the live stream, is me being like, I'm nervous. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, so announcement, and then like I said, actually here, if you want to just do the announcement and then I can type out what I, or actually you already did. Okay, cool. Perfect. Wow.
The question.
I have a question.
Okay.
Let's see here.
I did that.
Let me open that up so that I can see anything that we have to. Oh wow. Okay, yeah. All right, so it's just Discord now. Okay. Your Discord is open, by the way, not the video. There you go.
That was when I made the announcement.
Okay.
But now, now it should be fun.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know. What were you gonna say?
I don't know. Now I forgot.
No.
Oh well. Here's what it is. No, it's cool.
It is.
Dakota Clark, what up, guys? Hey. Oh my God, hi Queen. How are you doing? How's your day? How do you feel? Ultimate. That is a lot of questions. Dark Knight Films.
Where? Is this in Hangout questions or Hangout chat?
No, it's in YouTube. I have that open too. No, that's cool. I can grab stuff from.
Yeah, can you? Yeah, you can be chat master.
I have. Remember, I'm that weirdo with like the 12 screens.
I'm that bitch. Been that bitch. Still bitch.
Yeah. So, oh my God, hi Queen. How are you doing? How is your day? How do you feel at the moment?
I'm really nervous. I'm so petrified of public speaking, bro. It's ironic that I have a fucking degree in acting. I probably shouldn't swear. There's no way to stop me from swearing, dude. Like, I wish there was. There just simply is not. Yeah, I'm really nervous. I think I'm even more nervous because I have to like show people things that I have done. And what if you all look at my Touchdesigner network and you're like, this is horrible, Raymond. Like, this is such a spaghetti network, and it's all. What if that's what happens? It could happen.
Exactly. Oh, ow. Let's see here. I thought today was so not going to get good.
Oh.
Get good, Scrub.
I hope that it's good.
Where's my Discord gang at?
Hello, Discord gang.
Darth, rip ears, bro.
Dark's here.
Do I sound alright?
No.
Yeah, I never do. I don't have my sultry voice like Theo.
Or this fireplace, Theo. This fireplace, and do you have LEDs behind you? Is like a red and a blue.
Oh yeah, I have 5 views.
The production value.
Oh, and look, he is fancy as shit.
He really do be fancy as fuck.
Remembering to breathe is a good thing. It is indeed. Remembering to breathe is like one of those things that it's at least gotta be your number 2.
I think when you're nervous, yeah, that's definitely true. I feel like I get so concerned about how my voice sounds when I'm talking. You know what I mean? I'll get halfway through a sentence and then I'll be like, do I sound stupid right now? And then I'll forget what I was saying, and then it'll take me like forever to get back to the point that I was trying to make. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
It's very embarrassing.
There we go.
So what I'm saying is be gentle with me today. Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Oh.
How is everyone's day doing? How can I hear you? Let me hear you in the chat, bro. Oh, Darth. Kevin says that your mic is, or Monty says that your mic is too loud.
Monty said it too.
Yeah, Monty said. I said Kevin, but then I was calling him by his first name, and we never do that, so I changed it. I'm sorry, Monty. I hope it's okay.
Yeah, Monty just outs himself. It's all right.
Streaming a Discord server, maximum effort. Listen, the reason that we did it this way is because the last time we all tried to stream like into Discord, there was that cap on how many people can be video streaming at the same time, and so we had to do the first meet the mods without video, and that was just lame. Like, I feel like it's so much better when you can see people's faces, and so the thought was that we would do it on YouTube, just out of Discord, because we still wanted it to be a server event. Right, so that's why we're streaming out of Discord onto YouTube. I know it's a little unconventional. Uncouth is like rowdy, right? What does uncouth mean?
I don't know.
I don't know either, dude.
I'm only allowed one big word a day. I already used mine. Mine was
What was yours?
I don't even remember what mine was. Forte, and it's not even a big word. So that's my limit right there.
Forte is a good word. I'm gonna take my. So I am peak quarantine right now in that I'm in a hoodie. I'm in 2 hoodies and then just shorts, like spandex shorts, on the bottom under a blanket because
nice.
It was cold in my living room this morning, but now it's the afternoon, so it's
I decided
that's cold. But I have to always be dressed like some sort of a Russian Sith Lord at all times. Hence.
Yes.
Am I doing okay?
Oh yeah.
Good.
You're pulling it off like.
Oh, someone has exams tomorrow. I'm sorry. That sucks, bro.
Oh, you have the YouTube open now?
I do. Well, so it shows up in my little screen thing. Look, I'm on top of some things.
Yeah, I have the YouTube chat as well up.
Thank you. Okay, good. See, we should also get. I don't see anything in Hangout questions or in Hangout chats. Maybe we should just assume that YouTube is the place where this will happen. You know, like real live streamers.
Yeah, exactly.
That would make sense.
You guys look so awesome. Oh my god! Thank you, Theoistic.
Theo. Wait, did you just say Theoistic? Theo? Is it Theostic or Theoistic? I've been saying Theoistic in my head this entire time, and I just realized that I never said it out loud.
It is Theoistic.
Ah, thank God. Haha!
It is Theostic forever.
I literally was like, I'm gonna have to reroute so much, like so many neural pathways that I've already formed. And I don't know if I have the facilities, big man.
It's like when you know there's somebody at work and you get like somebody tells you their name or incorrectly and you just like their name is Eddie but you just know him as Eric, and then when you work with them you're like, oh hey Eric, and they're like, no, it's Eddie, and you're like, well, you're Eric now, dude, sorry.
Okay. It's almost 1:30. Should we start the presentation? Or should we wait till it's actually 1:30?
It's up to you. I
guess we can wait for one more minute. We can vamp for one more minute.
Are we doing you first and then Theo?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what we agreed. Theo and I agreed. That wasn't me being like, I'm first.
No, I'm first. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I've been seeing a lot of Russian shit now because it's so okay. I started watching on I started watching a bunch of stuff on Cube.
Mm-hmm.
And Cube is Russian. Now it's got like
I didn't even know that.
I feel like it's the same way people like if they go to TikTok. And at least to me, like almost, I think I get like 1% that is in another language. So it's like if somebody jumps on TikTok and they speak Spanish, like obviously they're going to be directed towards Spanish TikTok. But like most of their TikTok feed is probably going to be English. So I'm like, now I just feel like that type of person because like Cube is like 98% Russian. And it's just like, you'll have like, this like this guy come up and he's like this little twig and he's like la Froshkoshe, and it's like, oh, Russian, right? because I can't speak Russian.
Bro,
so.
apparently I just
That's very
offended
close.
like
I mean,
60
that's very
people. I'm so sorry, dude. I thought that was really funny. I will never laugh again. That I literally I do this every time someone's like, you inconvenience me. I'm like, I will just kill myself. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I love all of you. Oh my god. Wait.
No,
but in addition, yes. First of all, you're welcome. Okay, for bringing you to Russian TikTok because it's obviously superior. Also, one of my friends, Margaret, who's actually in the chat right now, this has been happening to her too. So if you get Russian TikToks and they're because of me, I want you to send them to me because I'm proud.
Yes. I will.
How does she? What? What are you doing here? Sorry, I keep seeing my friends in the chat. Oh, jeez. That's Helios. Okay, all right. No, I'm not gonna laugh anymore because I deafened people and I.
No, it's fine.
No, it's not fine. It's not fine at all. Okay, I'm gonna start sharing this project now because I'm actually very excited about it. So let me share my screen. Oh god, this is the part that I was really nervous for, and now we're about to do it, and it's fine. It's all fine. I'm not scared. I'm absolutely terrified. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes. Well,
yes? You can?
See when it pops up.
Yeah.
Okay. Why am I hearing a lot of disconnecting noises?
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. This is the screen. I know there's a lot of X's on it. That is supposed to be how it is. So this, for anyone unfamiliar, is Touchdesigner. This is the first visual coding software that I ever learned. This is my mother tongue. And it's essentially just a Python and GLSL wrapper. So each one of these things is a little effect that I've built. So I will start with Paint Bucket because it's pretty animated once it gets going. But basically, all of these are sort of different like things that you can. Every single one of these squares, they're called nodes in Touchdesigner, is a GLSL function. So theoretically, you can do all of this with visual coding if you would like to, but you can also write your own GLSL tops.
Ray?
Yeah.
Before we jump further, the YouTube stream isn't including the Touchdesigner.
Yeah, you're streaming it to the Discord, but like I had to click watch stream to actually see it. YouTube won't be able to.
Like that? Can you see it now on YouTube?
Oh, wait, there's a small delay to YouTube, so we'll just have to see.
I'm standing by. See, this is why we said that this was how it was going to be. We were like, it is good if we start with people who are us, so that when we do this with the actual people who are doing the showcase, that if we fuck up, it's us who fucks up, and it's not them. Is it there now?
Yeah, but I think if Discord isn't highlighted, it will just say your stream is still running.
Jesus Christ. So I have to stay in Discord somehow? Well, I mean, I guess I don't have to like be moving around. That's fine. I can just come back and go for it. Whatever. Does this work for everyone? You don't really need to. Basically, this is Touchdesigner. So I can't even move around?
Oh yeah, no you can. Seems good now.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Anyway, so this is Touchdesigner. So all of these little purple boxes that you can see, these are actually GLSL functions. Like they're essentially wrappers for GLSL functions. So if you wanted to, you could create this entire network only out of the little purple wrappers, or only out of like custom GLSL. So for example, this right here is a feedback function. So what that means is that everything that is inside of this loop gets treated to all of these different effects and then fed back in, and it goes over and over and over, just like feedback on a microphone, how you can hear it in one play. Like feedback on a microphone is the microphone hearing through the speakers what it is picking up already. Like it is hearing itself, right? And it's going back through. So this is one of the most powerful effects in Touchdesigner because it's essentially like a recursive function. Basically, like it takes itself as an input. And so that is how I got this fun, I called it a paint bucket effect, because basically what I did was I took myself, like I filmed myself on a green screen. I took just the edges of that and then I made it bigger and I wiggled it around, right? And every frame I made it a little bit bigger and a little bit more wiggly and a little bit bigger and a little bit more wiggly. And then and then I changed the colors of it, right? So that eventually, once that happens several times, you get this cool like explodey like paint bucket effect. So that was one of probably the simplest. All of these, this is all calculated on the GPU, right? There's not a ton of custom code in effects like this. So this is probably one of the simpler ones to make, and you can really just make that by playing around with what Touchdesigner inherently does and just trying things and plugging things in yourself. But for things more like, shall we say, this geo up here, let's do this. And I'll pop into it because I know that I can only stay here for so long. Okay. Is Discord alive?
Yeah.
SOS 911, hello? Okay, great. Okay, this one here is using one of my very favorite effects ever in Touchdesigner. It's called instancing. And basically what you do is you instance, like, so you just tell it, hello, I would like you to save memory. You're not going to worry about the piece of geometry that you're drawing. You're not going to worry about like drawing that same piece of geometry over and over and over. I'm just going to say, draw this same thing, but slightly change where and how you're drawing it. And so that allows you to draw a lot more things with a lot less memory. So for example, this piece of geometry right here, this, like all of those beads you saw in the video, this is actually a 3D piece of geometry. Like if I make this viewer active, oh, sorry. No. If I make this active, I can actually come in here and you can see like side to side, like a 3D view that this is actually, oh, hello. Like 3D geometry. That is all, it's literally just taking like the pixels and saying, okay, at this pixel, draw a point, like draw a ball, and this pixel draw another ball. And so I think what I did here for this, which is what I usually do whenever I'm trying to make a geometry 3D, is I went, okay, like anything that's dark, make it small, anything that's light, make it big, so that the highlights, it's kind of like pointillism basically, but with 3D geometry. And that way, that's also how you can get that like cool rotating effect in whatchamacallit, that we had in virtual reality. And then I had to output everything over a green screen so that I could key it out later. So all of the effects, if you turn on like the geometry effects, look so utterly ridiculous because they're just, it's like over green and it looks really stupid until you take it into like a video editing software, and then it's smart. And then the particles themselves actually are in a totally different project from this, but that was entirely GLSL. That was straight code, like with some Touchdesigner, and it looked, actually I can take you into like a rough version of, just so you can see like how complicated these things can actually get to be. Like, here you go. Oh, come on, you can do it. Oh, we don't need that per se. So here's a great example of like, this is just, there's just a lot going on. You can see like how quickly this can get out of hand. But these guys over here, these are the custom GLSL functions. So if you were to open those up, that would be essentially like straight code, if that makes sense. And that's sort of the power of Touchdesigner, is it's just really, can really quickly translate like all of this code to pretty little notes. And so this is how I made the entirety of that music video, was just with all of these different functions in Touchdesigner. And that is what I want to do for the entire album, is I want to make something like this for every song, but actually maybe this time have it be like made in Unreal or something like that. But yeah, so that's virtual reality, the musical.
Wait, so you're basically writing like shaders within Touchdesigner?
Exactly.
Okay, do you have any examples of such shaders?
That would be like the particle one. Stand by. Like I said, the particles are actually in a different project, and I didn't remember that until just now. But like, oh, here you go. please. I don't want to. I'm too afraid to like share my screen because I'm scared that stuff will say no. But, like, for example, this would be like a GLSL shader in Touchdesigner, and as you can see, they all go into one another. And then this basically these are saying hello. So this is not one that I wrote. This is one that Touchdesigner wrote. But the one, again, the particles that we actually ended up using, we made custom. And so those are from the Jam project that I did with Petya. So that's not in here because...
Nice.
But yeah. So that's how code becomes a bunch of music videos. So yeah, literally, and Touchdesigner is fantastic because it's how I learned Python and it's how I learned GLSL because it's such a great way to learn because literally like you put things in and then you can see immediately like the results of your actions and it's like, oh, now I fucking understand. Do you know what I mean? Like it so helps with the process of like visualizing things and understanding them. Like it's really just a way to convert different types of data into other types of data. You know, you can pretty much control whatever you want. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's
like Inception. You like have a big node and then you zoom in and then there's 13 other nodes and then you zoom in and then there's more nodes.
Yeah, like it looks manageable. Then you come in here and you're like, Jesus Christ. What have you done? What? Yeah. Cool.
So real quick for everybody, in the YouTube, I guess at this point you could ask in YouTube, but if you have questions about anything about this, ask away. We'll get Ray to answer some questions. And then
ask some questions.
She laughed again.
No, I'm here.
No. She laughed again.
No.
It's great. It is awesome.
I'm deafening the people I love. But yeah. Are there questions on YouTube or Discord? I'm afraid to open now my chat because what if my Discord is like, I need to be the priority. You know, how life is.
So, let's see here.
Discord doesn't have anything recent.
No.
Okay.
No, not too many people asking in there unless they're asking in general.
There's a question in YouTube though.
What is it?
Did this project use any of the brainwave mapping?
It did not, because I did not see that until yesterday. And this project came out a couple months ago, actually, now. Mm-hmm. But it would be really cool to incorporate that into the rest of the album. Because Brainwave Bitch on TikTok is like honestly one of the coolest human beings. And she made a brainwave thing to my song, and I literally almost cried. Like it was so beautiful. Straight up, whenever people tell me that they've listened to Virtual Reality, I'm like, are you serious? Like, it's pretty wild to me, bro.
You don't have to apologize or feel bad for laughing.
I'm sorry for laughing. I do feel bad though. It's too late. I already feel bad. You can't make me stop.
Somebody asked if you need help with the mixing and mastering of songs.
So I have my friend who's a producer, my producer Ollie, and so we work together. So I think we're good. But if Ollie ever needs help with like music, I would let that be up to him because he's honestly brilliant and he's the captain of all of that. So I trust him implicitly to decide what we need.
Nice. I have no headphones. Did you do all the production yourself?
Ollie did all of the production. Ollie and I did all of the visuals and Ollie did all of the tracks, and I obviously did the singing and the writing. But this was done with 2 people on 2 laptops in 2 different pandemic houses.
See, see, the funny part is that that's a lie because it was only done by 1 person because we all know Ray is just a pigment of our imitation.
A pigment of your imitation or a figment of your imagination?
Him too.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Pigment of our Imitation. Why does it sound like a drag name? That would be my drag name. Pigment, and then Imitation. That'd be good. Although Pigment Imitation by itself, maybe not. Maybe not that.
No, that is actually I am very interested with Touchdesigner. Ever since you first started talking about it.
Bro, it has literally changed my life, dude. Like that is not an overstatement at all. Like it's you post or somebody posted something about a wall where they had used Touchdesigner on it. Yeah, that was me. During Pride?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used Touchdesigner to do an installation at LA Pride in 2019. And it used depth cameras to isolate people's silhouettes. And then we wrote the particle shader that I used in my music video was the first. It was like the beta version was what we used in Pride, because obviously the particle shader this came later. But we used a particle shader so that people could like walk up and they could like throw particles around and they could dance with this woman who was like, there was like a character on the screen and they could dance with her. And then like there was a bunch of shaders that I wrote, honestly, just using tops, which are those purple things. Tops just means operators that only operate on textures, like texture operators. They only operate on two-dimensional things. So mostly like those are totally GLSL and those are totally, most of this is GPU only, but those are totally GPU only. And I just made a bunch of like those effects people could like throw like paint and shit around, or they could throw like their stuff. I swore again. God damn it. Fuck, no!
That doesn't help! When you curse and you're like, fuck, that doesn't help!
Who the fuck gave me a platform, bro? Who the fuck was like, this bitch is the one who should be allowed to talk to a million people? Like, that was such a poor choice. Oh, God.
Here's actually a good question.
Okay.
How much, so the way they asked it was like a little, but I know what they're getting at. How much, like, okay, how much resources does this take? So, like, CPU or GPU intensive, and then, like, how long does it take to render what you need out? And,
so the point of Touchdesigner is that it's a real-time rendering engine. So right now you can see my frame rate is, like, 15, but that's because I have, like, I'm live streaming out of multiple applications, and there's a lot going on. But normally this project runs, especially on this GPU, at like fucking 90 frames a second, and I'm like, no one needs that. No one needs you to run multiple times faster than you need to.
What are you using? Do you know?
This is a 2080.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
But yeah, so usually she has no problems. But Touchdesigner is made. The point of Touchdesigner is for it to. Well, one of the points of Touchdesigner is for it to run in real time. And so real-time technology is one of the things that is absolutely booming these days, and it's pretty much my bread and butter. But real-time technology means for like interactive installations or like things that need to be calculated. Like none of this is pre-rendered, right? Like all of this is being calculated right now. And so the installation at Pride, for example, because it was interactive, it needed to run in real time. And so part of our challenge is coming up with programs like programming intelligently. Like that's part of the fun, is being like, how beautiful can I make this? Oh God, what is the word in English? Efficient. How efficient can I make this? Right? Like how can I make sure that this runs as quickly as it possibly can? Like it's about knowing like how the computer is calculating everything that you're asking it to do, right? And doing that the best way possible. And that's, to me, the most exciting, well, not the most exciting part, but one of the most exciting parts of real-time technology is that challenge, right?
So, all right. So, like, obviously there's a heavy programming side to Touchdesigner as well. Would you say it's more CPU or GPU intensive?
That depends on your architecture. Like it depends on how you're using it, because just like everything, like, so I don't know if I can make it show you this without it being stupid. Oh wait, stop, not you. Can you see that? Nope, you can't. All right. There's basically here. You know what? I'll just put some down, and then you'll see. then they'll see, then they'll know. They'll see, and they'll know. They'll say she wouldn't even have to fly. That is a deep cut. If anyone gets where that's from, I will be really impressed. But anyway, so here you go. So these that I have just dropped are, so the purple ones are tops, right? Those are texture operators. The pink one, this one is a DAT. So that operates just straight on data. That's CPU. This is a chop that is, I think that's also CPU. And this is a SOP, which is geometry. Those are points. Points are also calculated on the CPU. So basically, like your goal is like, okay, how much GPU calculation can I do? Like that's why you write the shaders yourself, is so that you can be like, force that bitch to the GPU because she's smart, right? And we want to save everything that we possibly can and try to take it off of the CPU as much as possible. So yeah, I think someone may need to correct me on this because I can't remember if I think these are all CPU, but I could be lying. So I'll have to check that. But yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah,
no, but you have a lot of room for optimization because you're writing every shader and stuff yourself. So, like, even though you're running a 2080, I mean, you could probably run an Intel integrated card and still be able to manage.
That's no, you're totally right. That's the entire goal, right? Is this should be able to run on anyone's machine, like anywhere. Like I have a 2080 because sometimes, you can see like when I turn on, the reason that I keep all of these in X factor mode, right, is because if I turn them all on, my computer would be like, whoa, you know what I mean? So like, but obviously it'll struggle then, but the goal is to be like, this could work anywhere, right? Because you never want, especially in industries like this that are so collaborative and are so focused on sharing, you never want the problem to be your code, right, that isn't accessible to people. That would just suck. That would not be fun at all. Zero fun.
I gotcha.
Make sense?
I
think maybe we have time for like one or two more questions, and then it's Theoistic.
Let's see here. We need more touch designers in live production for concerts.
Yes. Honestly, Touch Designer concert visuals are so legit, and part of the reason that I was really excited about doing all of this in Touch Designer was now, if Ollie and I ever want to go and like do concerts live, which having now seen how the fuck I behave trying to even just do a live stream, I don't know if my stage fright would ever permit that. But if we were ever to do something like that, I could run these visuals in real time. They're all efficient enough to run in real time and to run those like big LED screens and shit. Not that we would ever like sell out a venue that had big LED screens, but the projector in the back of the dive bar, like this could live be projected onto that. So
here's a good question.
Okay.
Does Touch Designer have CUDA compatibility, or do you have to program that in, or would it be like OpenGL, or do you know?
I know that they've built in a lot of new stuff. There probably would be an operator for it if it did. CUDA, I'm not seeing it.
So it might just run on OpenGL just to have access to as much hardware as possible, I guess, at that point.
I would assume. Again, it's basically just like a Python / GLSL wrapper.
I got you.
But they have some really, really wonderful like built-in GLSL functions that are really helpful. That also mean like if you want to play around with shaders from like Shader Toy or whatever, there's sort of like very minimal conversion that you have to do to get things to work in Touch Designer, which is really cool because it's really
like this version of what kind of, do you know what shader model it supports?
No, other than like it uses GLSL. But what do you mean?
No, like if it has support for a shader model 4 above, I think that's the minimum requirement to access CUDA, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me see. Hold on. Touch Designer minimum requirements.
I love that word.
System requirements. GPU, NVIDIA GeForce 600 or better, or HD 7000 AMD or better. GPU uses OpenGL.
Cool.
So
there you go.
there you go. Problem solved. Oh yeah, Connect support. It's actually got a lot. CUDA and C++. Yes.
Stunning.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I would just like to say the derivative team are like the most fantastic human beings I have ever encountered. They are the reason that I was like, holy shit, this is what I want to do with my life. Because like I went to a Touchdesigner. I volunteered. I was such a Touchdesigner groupie. I volunteered at a Touchdesigner conference, and so I got to like just like to help get people to the workshops and you know, like print things out and stuff like that. And it was so fun because everyone there is the light of my life. Like I have never met people who were more creative or more genuinely kind and passionate and excited about educating others. And I was like, I literally on the plane home from the Touchdesigner conference was where I made like my first like Touchdesigner like open source, like not open source, but like Touchdesigner repo that I was really proud of. I came up with this like, looking back, like could have been optimized way better, but like but of course we're always gonna look back and be like, it could have been so much better. Like I made this first thing that it was like I made it without following any tutorials, just off of like the things that I had learned. And that was the day that I was like, oh shit, like I don't know. I'm just so grateful to them, all of them who like the reason that I make YouTube tutorials, swear to God, is because I learned everything that I know about Touchdesigner from YouTube tutorials. And I was like, I want to make sure that if anybody ever has any questions, that I am a part of answering that, because I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to this community of people who did this. So yeah, Touchdesigner changed my life. So that I was really excited to be able to make virtual reality in Touchdesigner specifically, because yeah. And that's it.
Nice.
That's the tweet. All right, Theo, do you want to go?
Yeah.
Stop streaming. Ding dong.
Oh. I thought he laughed. I thought he was like, yeah, I'll go. See you. Bye.
Yeah, I'll go. Bye, bitch.
Take.
Now, Theo.
Yeah.
I have
a second.
one recommendation. Can you please pop your collar?
No, he looks amazing. Look at this freaking
Just
like
pop
background
it,
he's got.
Pop.
So let's see here.
Ooh. Oh wow. Okay.
Ooh.
So first, I want to talk about something called Blazor. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it. Blazor is a way for us to basically run WebAssembly in within the browser. This. So recently, we did a project where we had to handle scanning of coronaviruses. And of course, not knowing exactly what the application implied forward. So we just said, you know what, we're going to do something with WebAssembly and Blazor, just so we can switch between either running it on the client or on the running it on the server. So I'll just show you a quick example here. I had to modify the code just before we went live, so let's hope everything goes fine.
That tracks. That very much tracks. Not me. I modified the code on live. Did you see me delete an operator while I was presenting? That was cute, I thought.
So just to make sure that I'm not touching anything from my work or any live production, I just had to run everything in a memory database just now. So let's say an example here, you come in and you choose that you want to get tested at some location. It asks whether or not you are coming with a car or if you're walking. You type in your name, your birthday, your phone, and some email. And you would have to select, I want to get tested Monday, and I want tests at 10:30. You can see here there are 30 slots left. This is to optimize the queue. So when people come to get tested, we had the problem in the beginning when we had the most severe outbreak of Corona, that some people could actually wait in queue up to 8 hours to get tested. So the healthcare system here in my country, without specifying which, asked if we could find a way how to optimize this so people wouldn't stand in line for 8 hours to get tested. So this system is currently running, and the average waiting time is 15 minutes now. And when you book yourself for test, you'll get a text message and an email with a QR code. That QR code has all your information on it. So when you show up for a swab test, you basically just show on your phone, this is my QR code. They scan the QR code. They get all the information on their device. Then they take the swab into your mouth and scan the vial code on the vial itself. And the vial and your QR code are then linked. So later, when the lab actually runs the tests, all the information that was scanned previously from the QR code is automatically linked to the vial, so they can say that, oh, vial number 123 is automatically linked to Theo, so we know that he is positive.
Is this you telling us?
There, of course. Yeah.
No!
I haven't been positive yet.
Oh God, thank God. Please stay there.
But it's dangerous if you're walking around people. Anyways, I want to demonstrate something about Blazor here. The cool thing is that a lot of people on here probably have done some minor HTML and stuff. So I'm not sure. Can you see my IDE or Visual Studio?
I can see your Visual Studio.
Yeah. So this is a racer file, which is basically written up in Blazor. It's a mix of HTML, some CSS if you're really poor and just inject CSS into here, and you have C# syntax or racer syntax. You have the option, of course, down below to specify in your HTML file that everything within this bracket, which says code, is written in C#. Cool. Later, in your startup procedure, you can specify whether or not this should be bundled into a WebAssembly. Let me put it here. Which you can compile your code to WebAssembly, push it as a WebAssembly file to your browser, and allow your browser to actually run like near metal performance instead of running via JavaScript. So we wanted that from the beginning, that nothing on this project should be written in JavaScript because the performance is just too poor. And yeah, that's about it, actually.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, there's a bit more to it, but, well, we have, of course, in our project, if I stop it here, developed multiple solutions for all kinds of stuff. We have, we've developed the apps that the medical professionals use to actually run the daily operations. We have developed services for them to reach out to everyone that has been scanned with when they get an email saying such a, they're negative, and here's a proof that you can have with you when you go travel, stating that, I'm negative, so I'm allowed on board a plane or something. But yeah, the base of this talk actually was trying to go more towards web technologies than exactly this Corona project. So I want to demonstrate something here in... Let me just pull this up first. Something like that. There. I think I have it here. Here. An example of this is I wrote a project called TWASM, which will enable you to actually write bare-bone C# that will be compiled into assembly. In this example, C, Rust, C++ is run into an assembly to put into the browser of the client. So you know those websites where you can take a URL of a YouTube clip, paste it into a website. It'll run some kind of decoder to actually decode it to an MP4 file, and you can download that video clip.
I've never used one of those. Never in my life.
The problem with that is you're running a single server, and all the API calls to the YouTube services is coming from that one server, right?
Okay.
So sometimes you have a problem such as that if you're running a heavy service on your server, then you want to call some web API such as YouTube's API. An easy way for you to minimize your hosting costs and being sure you're not being throttled because you're hitting the YouTube servers too often is, of course, to compile the code into a WebAssembly and just providing it in a static HTML file to the user. So whatever HTTP requests are made to the YouTube servers are coming directly from the client's machine, right? And not your server. So it minimizes your hosting needs. So in an example here, I've written up a simple class which has a static method which basically just returns a string, just for simplicity. In here, we're including the TWASM JavaScript file and the app file, or the app.js. The app.js basically starts up a JavaScript and tells it to take whatever the script access.hello function, which is written within C# returns, and change some text on the website. And if we try to run that, TWASM, well, there we go.
Hello.
If we go in here, you can actually see here that we've changed some text on the HTML page, which was written in C#, which is actually being, if we go to sources, no, not sources, network. Allow the debugger. All the native DLL files are being passed as well into your browser, as well as the ASM files here, which is both .NET itself, a highly compressed minified version, and example.dll. And example.dll is, of course, this function. So basically what I'm saying that you can take a lot of your heavy server-side work, pass it into a WebAssembly, and actually run it on the client to minimize your hosting needs. And that's actually something I've been working on recently. And it is on GitHub, but it's still private, but hopefully I'll make it public sooner or later.
Don't worry, virtual reality is also on my private GitHub. That's really good.
Wait, actually, your Touchdesigner project, how large is it on GitHub?
Let's take a look. I don't even know, dude. I mean, it's not. Well, so honestly, the biggest part is the fact that I have to pass in the video file as well. So I think it does have to use LFS, but that's only because LFS is shitty, and it's like, oh, freaking what? Hello? How do I see how big it is? Theo, help me! I'm an idiot.
If you have your local file, or local
file. I thought you said on GitHub.
Well, yeah.
You need to be very specific with me, Theo. Keep in mind, I'm stupid. 35 megs.
35 what?
Megabits. MB.
Oh, okay.
He's like, what?
I was thinking gigabytes. Like,
no,
because you're talking about like a video project. I was like, Yeah.
What
Okay.
if I was like, it's 35 gigabytes? And you were like, what? And I was like, what? Is that big?
Oh my god.
I just thought it was like. No, so it's actually not that bad. I honestly thought it was because it's a 4K video. But. Yo,
That's actually very good.
yeah, you would think. Maybe
So,
it's compressed or something. So what?
Here's a question. All right. Actually, Theo, are you relatively done and ready for questions, or?
Oh yeah. I'm pretty much done there.
Okay. So okay, here's a question real quick. Is depending on what it is, like obviously you have to code for like everything. So like you don't want something intensive to, well, actually I guess phones have gotten a lot better now. That
Or you can run it on the phone.
Yeah. But like I mean you also have to, I guess to an extent, be careful on what you have it doing, because a phone is still a limited resource. It's not like, you know.
No, I mean, like for the example I did was for example the YouTube thing. That would be really nice because then you wouldn't have to think about, because like if 100,000 people went in and tried to like ask for some certain videos or something, your server would be tasked to connecting to YouTube and then decoding 100,000 videos, and that would be really taxing, especially if you're not making any money off it. So by giving it to the client, you're basically saying, here's a free service I wrote up in a day or two, and I'm just giving it to you via a static HTTP server or something. So
how did you, was this something that you were working on before the pandemic? And if so, how did you come to think of, oh, we should do it this way? Do you know what I mean?
Kind of. Back a few years ago, when Unreal Engine worked together with Mozilla to compile a game via WebAssembly and WebGL to have some kind of it had some kind of demo. I was really amazed that you would actually run code that fast or compiled code that fast via a browser. So I looked into WebAssembly, what it was and stuff like that. It was cool. And then a bit later, Blazor was announced by Microsoft, which was kind of cool because earlier I've been working with Razor, which was like kind of like PHP or something like that. Yeah, a server-side rendered HTML page that is still dynamic, right? And you had the option of using like Vue, Angular, or React.js or something like that to make it a bit more dynamic. But the cool thing about Blazor was that everything ran via WebSockets, so you could actually tell Blazor to run all the code on the server or all the code on the client. So if you had like sensitive stuff like we had with the Corona project, we decided, you know what, everything's going to be run on the server, so no one's trying to mess around there, But if for such as the YouTube project, that could be run on the client because there's nothing sensitive there. And I like the idea that we could actually make something compute intensive on the client. So I looked into how Blazor was actually written into the Microsoft's GitHub repository and figured out that they use some kind of really messed up version of the Mono compiler and the Mono runtime. They managed to take the entire Mono.NET runtime and compress it down to only a megabyte, which was really cool. So to be able to, yeah, I know it was kind of cool. But so I took that research and developed TWASM, and basically what it is it's a model. I'm using the Roslyn compiler, and I've written a NuGet resolver. So whenever you write code in C#, I'm compiling your C# code, resolving your NuGet dependencies into a WebAssembly, and then of course spitting out a JavaScript file which has an index of all classes and functions within your assemblies, so your native JavaScript has access to call those functions. So yeah.
Damn. I have another question, and this is more pandemic related, and I think you'll be allowed to answer it, but if you are not, just don't.
Sure.
because you're developing a lot of, you mentioned like so many things that you were developing for like medical professionals, for people who needed like the ability to send stuff, results back to people, etc. Like all of the, I know personally, like I've had a lot of stuff at my job that was like, all right, there's a totally new procedure that you need to come up with and you need to have done it yesterday, right? So and it sounds like that was happening a lot to you too, right? So what is like the pipeline that they've developed for like, for UI, for example? Like if I'm a doctor and I'm like, I need it to be able to do this, and this, like how are people getting their feedback to you, and how have there been any changes in terms of like the way that you need to communicate with people and the people that you need to communicate with, and like the timeline that you need to, does that make sense? Like how does
Yeah.
this, I'm part of this question especially motivated because your UI was so pretty, and I noticed the floating like fractal thing, which I feel like I've seen that somewhere. I don't know who you stole that from, but I feel like I've seen that. Yeah. But yeah, so that was my question. I was like, I feel like this would be so like soothing to me if I like that's also part of it. Like there's under the hood, there's this really cool sort of like architecture in place from like a web perspective, but then also you have to think about like there's a lot of people who are now going to be relying on this who like definitely never did before, right? And how to onboard them almost.
Yeah. What we have is we're doing pretty frequent updates, and we are in real time contact with all the staff that are using it, both the team that's administering the swaps, and in the lab the lab technicians. Everyone is coming back with feedback. Not all applications are, of course, web applications. We have the main application, which is a web-based application, which has a backend as well. I'm not sure if I could show you that though, but it has options for you can add in multiple locations and stuff. So we have branched out to multiple hospitals all over the countries, and the for example, the staff that actually do the swab test, they use a Android app, and the guys at the lab use a WPF application, which is like a normal Windows-based Windows application, I guess. There are a lot of requests that we haven't gotten to. It's just because we've been swamped. We're two developers basically. I'm doing the web end of everything and the main architecture of everything here. He did the Android application, and with all the requests we're getting, they have to take it as it comes,
This is the fact that this is first of all, this is really cool in and of itself. The fact that you did this with two people is absolutely wild, especially on the timeline that we all have to be working in with COVID. That's insane, Theo.
Well, it does, it does help with the pay at least. Like, you can smirk a bit when you're talking to your boss, I guess, when you're saying that, oh yeah, we just pulled like 80, 90 hours this week, so
So
that is nice.
Little zhuzh would be nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Do you have any questions in the chat?
Let's see. When will you make your GitHub repo public? I don't know who that's exactly geared towards, but
probably Theo. That's what I'm talking.
Probably I can do it within a. Yeah, well, I can do mine at least within a week, I guess. I just have to like clean up some code, and people can have access to it within a week.
I mean, I could make a joke, but we'll skip
I
that.
think.
Just wondering.
Are there any questions in Discord? Because I see a notification, but I can't open it because my screen is being shared.
Yeah.
I would just open the chat.
Hangout question. That was for you.
What was for who?
How is the drag queen AI going?
Haha! I get this question all the time. And I probably should make a video addressing it. So I made that project with a friend of mine who then he hasn't decided what he wants to do with it. And me sharing it, like, so the drag queen AI, that was not supposed to be like the final product of like what came out of that research. And so I made a video about it at a time when I had like fewer followers than I have now, but more followers than I like really knew what would happen, if that makes sense. Like I made a video being like, oh, like some people will see it, and he texted me being like, hey, so exactly how many TikTok followers do you have? Because like 4 separate people have messaged me specifically and been like, is this you? And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, because he had wanted it to be like a surprise, and so I am going to leave that up to him. And so until he decides where he would like to move with that, I just don't want to speak about it anymore, just because it's our project together. And until he's ready, like, for it, I just want to make sure that it's clear that it's his baby, right? It was his idea. I was just pushing buttons. So
I got you.
that's the update. I know that so many people are. It's really important to me too, and I really thank everybody so much for their interest in it. I just want to make sure that when we do come out with the final thing, that it's something that everybody really feels comfortable with and that everybody really can be proud of. So, the other thing is we're all just so goddamn busy, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's that.
True.
I think they're just general questions.
Okay.
Well, no, like, because do you trust antivirus software?
Like, no.
I don't.
Absolutely not. Not if you're going the rabbit hole that I went down for that Kaspersky video, homie. Like I felt like that one meme of the guy from It's Always Sunny where he's got like maps on his wall. And they've all got like pins in them, and there's like red string everywhere. And he's like, and this, and this, and this could mean that. Like, I really felt like I was turning into a conspiracy theorist. So no, absolutely not. I was like, I took my computer to Best Buy, and they were like, oh, we installed antivirus for you. You're welcome. And I was like, what? I was like, what have you done? I got so pissed. It was really fun. I was like, what is your agenda? Like, what was your motivation to do that?
But like, I think like you're at least intelligent enough like about computing and security overall to be like not just like downloading the credit card helper.exe file.
What? Like, do you think that's bad? I just downloaded that last night, and now my computer has all these ads popping up on it.
Like, download more RAM or download more cores. Like,
it said it would speed up my PC.
But like, all right. So I actually had family members ask me about all that because that actually got like a decent amount of like mainstream attention. The whole Kaspersky thing.
Oh, the
whole Kaspersky thing, yeah. And I had people asking me, they're like, oh, should I delete my antivirus? And I'm like, I know you. I know what you do. No, you need the antivirus. They're like, but like they're looking at my...
Yeah, so
like, dude, like...
So within reason, right? So here's the thing, is that the concern, my concern with... Why is this so hard? I'm sorry. I just wanted some Gatorade, and it's like cutting open my palm. Okay, I'm putting that aside. Anyway, my concern with antivirus is that stop. I'm focused. is that like, because it literally needs access to every single file on your computer to be able to scan it for malware, right? Like, which is true. It does need that. That also means that if some like agent has access to your antivirus, right? They also have access to everything that it has access to, which means everything on your computer, right? And it is known for a fact, this is something that the NSA has admitted, is that they use antivirus software as a backdoor to spy on people, right? So, but here's the thing: is the NSA, first of all, is spying on you in many ways already, and second of all, they are not like, unless you are like a political activist or like a warlord somewhere, or like basically someone who like the U.S. government would be like, you're on a list, right? Like, unless you're that, you don't really need to worry about that kind of thing. So if like if you're not that, I would say, I think like that the benefits of not getting viruses on your computer, just because I know that like sort of the average internet user probably will go to some sketchy places and potentially download some sketchy things. Like it's like exactly what you just said. You're like, I know my family and I know like what, right? Like I would say that yes, you should have an antivirus software running on your machine, especially if you have a Windows machine, because they're vulnerable to a lot of shit, right?
Well, Macs are
also, yes, I also don't want to knock that. Crypto also made a great video about this, where because people seem to think that Macs are like fucking impervious, which is absolutely not the case at all. Like, I don't know who was like, oh, it'll be fun. No, Brenda, it's a scary world out there.
Well, sorry. So I actually know the kind of history behind that. Was because that started when Macs were. Hold on. First off, let's all stop and watch Ray attempt to open a Gatorade bottle, because that is entertaining.
I know.
It's but no.
There's no one I can call to help me. Get, like,
use your teeth. Use your teeth. Just
How am I fucking? It's a Gatorade bottle. They're big. I can't like no. I'll break my jaw.
Just take a knife, stab it, and then like just
what
drink
a brilliant
out of
idea.
That. Yeah, you just won't be able to close it again.
Just shotgun it.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I can do it if it was a can. It's not a can. It's also not carbonated, so that would not work. I would like water spigot it rather than shotgunning. I guess if it's a shotgun, that would be more of like what's like a very flaccid projectile weapon. Like not a shot, like a shotgun of beer. But I'll slingshot this maybe, but loose slingshot, like before, I don't know. Anyway, please continue with what you were saying.
Oh, I enjoy this time. So okay, where the whole Macs don't get viruses thing started, way back. Because when you look at the system itself, it didn't have a lot of users to begin with. And when you look at viruses, like the majority of them were all happening to Windows. There was a few exceptions to Mac back in the day, but it wasn't like as widespread because of the way the Mac system works. So what ended up happening was people started with this, oh, well, I have a Mac and I've never gotten a virus, so like Macs don't get viruses. And that just sprawled into this entire thing. They didn't, if you ever look, Apple never came out and said Macs get viruses, because that was like the best advertising that they could have, was this like random thing, just like it's you know what it was like? It was like Red Bull. When Red Bull had the whole thing going around saying Red Bull is made with bull semen, they actually had to go. No, this was a thing. They actually had to in countries, when they actually went to a country and they're like, "Hey, we're selling in here." The country stopped. There were countries that stopped them and said, "Listen, we don't want people drinking bull semen." And Red Bull's like, "No,
my good Christian
that's not like that's not a thing." But that was great advertising for them. And honestly, they never, because if they had promoted it, they could have gotten sued. But there's a lot of people that said that, they were a very big promoter behind the push of people saying it and like really highlighting it in key spots, because I mean, it got so widespread. But yes, Macs hate viruses, and I hate Macs. So I mean,
Yeah.
But I'm
Max get viruses. I mean, I think that there
really
is something to be said for the fact that they have all of these like extra security procedures, but it's like
Yeah.
what I mean by that is like the annoying ones where they're like, you can't run this from an untrusted developer. You want to right click and run it because you can't run it. No, I don't trust the developer. And you're like, the developer is me, bitch. And she's like, I don't trust the developer. And you're like, okay, well, so it has a certificate. But yeah, that's my point. Anyway, so we have been on for an hour, and I think that an hour is a good cap for this live stream.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that there's no final questions. But other than that, this was our first server live stream. So I want to make sure, I want to say two things. One is very shameful. I'm not going to say shameless self-promotion. It's utterly shameful self-promotion. I'm ashamed to be saying this.
Go.
But Ollie and I are working on a full album. And like I mentioned, I want to like make other music videos the way that I made virtual reality, using Unreal and using Touchdesigner. And I want it to be a visual album. Ollie thinks that is too ambitious, but I think it is not. So I guess I'm asking everyone to like watch the video on YouTube and subscribe on YouTube and stream the song so that we can demonstrate that there's like enough demand for this so that that can be good. And the other thing I want to say is that if you are interested in presenting your work in the same way that Theo and I just presented our work, we are hoping to start doing monthly showcases like this, where you will jump into a chat and you will stream, and it will be broadcast on my channel, and everyone can ask you questions, and we can share it, because there are so many fucking amazing human beings in this Discord server, and I want the world to know how cool you are and what you are working on. So, and there have already been some people who we have been in contact with. So, surprise, you guys are on the list for next time, and we will be reaching out to you, obviously, being like, hey, when are you free? Can we set this up? So don't panic if that's you. But yeah, if you want to do this, all of my social media like bios, like my Instagram and my TikTok and whatever, have a link to the Discord server. So if you want to join it and you want to submit stuff that you're doing, come on by and do that. And that is my closing statement. Theo, do you have a closing statement?
No, that was pretty good. I'm actually looking forward for next time to see what people are working on.
Yeah, me too. Should we make like an LED lighting setup, a pre-rec? Because you just look so... Is that a real fireplace or a fake fireplace?
Oh, it's real.
Are you lying?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so gullible. All right. All right. Well, that's all. That's all, folks. Cool. All right. Well, thanks to everyone for tuning in to this, our first server live stream. I like
lime stream better.
We hope to be able to bring you many more in the future. All right. I'm going to stop the live stream.